o'clock, and it's time for episode 53 of What Does This Button Do? From Geeks on Tour. It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with Geeks on Tour. And that's us. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jim. And together here with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn these amazing devices?
We are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is in small pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we came up with this weekly show. Then on our website, geeksontour.com, we have prepared videos and all sorts of more material for you to peruse.
Well, so we are in Daytona Beach, Florida.
On our way back to our home base of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
After a great Geek Week at Hilton Head.
That was a lot of fun.
We did a hands-on class on smartphone photography, and then we did 3 different seminars, both for the Sun City group and for the Hilton Head Island Computer Club. And this is the 3rd time we've been there.
Yeah.
Making some good friends. It was a great time. And we welcomed 22 new members.
That was very nice. And I hope some of you are watching.
Yeah.
If you are, go ahead and put a comment in there. We'd love to see that. Okay? So on today's show, we think we have a good show for you this week. A quick tip about editing pictures with Google Photos, our new favorite photo program. And our beginner's lesson this week is for everyone, how to organize your home screens. The app of the week, it will be Roadtripper. And one of our viewers suggested that.
Requested that.
And so if you have a request for an app of the week, go ahead and put it in the comments and we'll try and get it on a show. If you have questions, put those in the comments as well, and we'll try and answer them live during the show. The show is recorded on YouTube on our Geeks on Tour channel, and you can always find the links at geeksontour.com/weekly show. YouTube. Yeah, cool. Go ahead.
Oh, where's the tip of the week? Okay. Our tip of the week.
Was it up here?
Yeah,
there
okay.
it is.
We went by it.
Went too fast. Sorry about that.
Our tip of the week is photo editing with Google Photos. You may have heard some people say that Google Photos is very weak in the photo editing. But just because there aren't very many buttons and very many options doesn't mean that it isn't really, really good. I like it. And there's one example I'm going to give you.
Okay.
And I will show you what I mean. So we need to switch over to this. And
Okay.
there. And there. Okay.
Looks good.
So I'm showing you this on the iPad, but it works exactly the same. That's another thing that I really like about Google Photos. They have made it work just the same on both Apple and Android devices. So I tap on Google Photos, and this is all my Google Photos, but I have a particular example. So I'm gonna search, and I have a group of pictures that we call GOT for Geeks on Tour examples. And Martin Brossman, and I hope you're watching because the example I'm going to use is actually your picture. Let's see, maybe it'll look better this way. We went out after we did our show from Martin's home studio a week ago. We went out to dinner, and he gave his camera to the waitress to take a picture. But look how dark it is. Well, looking at it in Google Photos, I can tap the pencil. Pencil means edit. Now, it's so dark. Now, why is it so dark? Well, because there is this backlight, this bright light coming in from the windows, and that's a difficult situation. Most photographers say use your flash to fill in the front, or you have to use something like Photoshop, because simple photo editors like Picasa will have to brighten the whole thing, and then that becomes totally washed out. But watch this. Just one tap on auto, and
Wow.
look how much better.
That is a lot better.
Just that one feature. And I've used it lots. There's been a bunch of pictures that have been worthless. What one tap on the auto correct with Google Photos, and it's a lot better.
That's amazing.
I'm not going to save that, though, because I need to use that for an example again when we teach Google Photos.
Okay.
So that is my tip of the week.
Cool. I did get a question here. Derry Lang wants to know, what are your thoughts about upgrading to the new iOS 9? Should I wait a bit in case of any bugs? Well, I think that's a great question. And, you know, we always upgrade as soon as I do anyway. I always upgrade.
Yeah, you upgraded my iPad without even asking me.
Well, I upgraded my iPhone to iOS 9 and everything went smoothly, and I figured, okay, we'll do this. But one thing, we ran into a problem, and we've heard a few issues. So yeah, you can always wait a few days or even.
I don't think there is any harm, and there is reason to wait a few weeks. Now, you should not wait years.
No.
And the older your device is, the more reason there is to wait.
Right.
So if you have an iPhone, well, I don't even know if you can update a iPhone 4, but the older your device is, the more reason there is to wait. And read the reviews, read the articles. But it is important to do the updates too.
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Any others?
No,
Or
that's
shall I? Okay.
not here. I mean, there might be some on your screen, but not on mine.
So our beginner's lesson this week is about organizing your home screens.
Right.
So we'll go back to here again. And oh, no, wait, I do have one slide, don't I? Yeah. So organizing your home screen, there's 7 things I'm going to touch on, both on the iDevice, the Apple devices, and on the Android. Searching, deleting apps, arranging means moving things around and making folders, understanding how many home screens you have, how to make an alphabetical arrangement, what is a launcher and what is a widget. Those last 2 are Android only. All right, so I'm going to start off with the iDevices, with Apple. And we have 2. We have Jim's iPhone and we have my iPad. I want to show you Jim's iPhone.
All right.
And because, look at this mess.
Hey, hey, hey.
I can't find a thing. I pick up his phone and I just can't find anything. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 screens. Now with iOS 9, there's even one additional one here, and we won't be talking about that one today. But how do I tell how many home screens there are? That's these dots down here. So as you see, when I moved over, it goes to the next white dot. I move over again, it goes to the 3rd white dot. I move over again, it goes to the 4th white dot. So when I pick up Jim's phone and I want something, it's going to take me a long time to find it, and I just don't even bother. I use search. So how do you search? You just swipe down and it opens up this search. Now when I say swipe down, it's a little bit specific. If you swipe down from the very top of the screen, you're going to get your notifications. So that's not it. You have to tap somewhere kind of in the middle and swipe down from there. And that opens up this search. It's called Spotlight Search. So if I want to look to see if he has this app called Runkeeper, I can then type run, and there it is. Much faster than trying to find it.
Well, that's really the way that I do most of my
I agree.
my apps, and a lot of people do, but there might be a better way.
Right, you don't have to organize.
No.
If you know how to search, you don't have to organize. And
Okay.
you don't even have to search. You can just ask Siri. Launch Runkeeper. Boom. So, all right. So I don't have to teach you how to organize your screens.
All right. Short
done.
show today.
We're done. All you have to do is search or ask. All right. But no, we do have to show you some things about organizing. So I'm going to show you my iPad. Now, look at this. Nice, organized.
Very nice.
I'm organized in all these folders. So I have a folder for communications. You tap on the folder, it opens up just that group. You tap outside the folder and you're back. I have one for Google stuff. I have one for creating stuff and work. But you know what? Anybody else have the experience of when you organize everything, then you can't find anything? So I still will probably just search for Runkeeper because I don't remember what folder I put it in. All right, but how did I make these folders? And why do I have no white dots?
Uh-oh. You may only have one home screen.
I put everything onto this one home screen and in folders.
You should be so proud of yourself.
Okay, but let's say after a while I get so frustrated not remembering what folder I put things into that I say forget it, I want to start over. Or rather than folders for communicate, Geeks on Tour, create, work, learn, leisure, I just want to make alphabetical folders. So I'm going to tell my iPad start over, reset. You do that by tapping on settings and then general, and at the bottom of the general screen there's reset. Now be careful, you do not want to reset your entire device, erase all content and settings. No, no, no. I just want to reset my home screen layout. So I just tap on Reset Home Screen Layout. This will reset your home screen layout to factory defaults, meaning it will undo all the work I did.
Well, that sounds just a little scary.
Yeah, a little, but you know, sometimes you have to empty all the drawers, empty everything out of your closets, and start over again. So now let's see what it looks like. My folders are gone. The first screen has the default Apple programs on it, the ones that come with your iPad. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screenfuls of apps. You can see my 6 dots down here. And my dock, the ones at the bottom that stay there for everything, are back to the default ones that came with the iPad. All right, so how do I move one around? How do I make some folders? Well, for one thing, I don't use the Apple Mail. I use the Gmail. So what you do is you touch and hold until everything starts wiggling. Now you can move things around. So I move that out of the dock. I also don't use this messages. I'm going to move that out of that. And I don't use Safari. And I don't use music. I don't want any of those. I want Gmail down in my dock. So I have to find it first. And there it is. I drag it down to the dock. And now it's going to be there regardless of what screen I'm on. I also use Google Photos all the time, so I want it down on the dock. And I want Google Maps down on the dock. Okay, great. Notice how they're all wiggling, and some of them have an X. So let's say that this hangman game, I just don't want at all anymore. That's what the X is for. While they're wiggling and they have an X, you can just tap there, delete hangman. It will also delete all of its data, delete. So that icon is no longer on my screen. That app is no longer on this device. That deletes it from the iPad.
Well, that's great.
Now, how do I stop them from wiggling? You know, I say, I'm done. Stop wiggling.
Know. You would touch the home button.
Yeah, just the round button over here. We call it the home button. And you press that. All right, but I'm not done yet. I do want to make some folders. And I think I'm just going to make a folder for A through F. So for my apps. So there's these ones that start with numbers came first, and these are still Apple default ones. And then we start with the alphabetical. So there's all you do, touch and hold until they start wiggling, then drag one on top of another. That's how you make a folder. It comes up with a name for this folder based on what you've put in it, but I don't want it to say productivity. I just want it to say A through F, and done. Now I can drag that A into there, and I can drag this B into there, and that B into there, and that B into there, and C, and C, and C. Now, I don't know if alphabetical makes any sense to you. You come up with your own system, but just showing you how. Now, if you should decide that something in here is too important, like this all stays. We use all stays all the time to find campgrounds. I don't want it in there. Maybe I even want it on the dock. Well, the way you get it out of the folder is just drag it out. And then I can drag it down to the bottom. All right, so and then I tapped the home button. I pressed the home button again. Now I have a whole bunch of empty space here in the front. So I need to get these icons there. Touch and hold till they wiggle. Touch and hold, drag over to the left until your screen moves. So it takes a little bit of practice because they tend to bounce. They definitely tend to bounce, but you can make it happen. So that's it for the Apple. Now let's do Android.
Okay.
And I have 2 Android devices that I'm going to show you. Let me see, which one did I want to show first? I think I want to show the tablet first. So this is a little Samsung tablet, and talk about a mess. This one is really a mess, but just like on the iPad, I can search. Now, you have Google search, and it might be in a different place on your device, but you should see a box somewhere that says Google and has a speaker. So I'm going to use the same example. I tap there, and I get my keyboard and my Google search, and I can look for Runkeeper. Now, some people, I really like showing this because a lot of people think that Google search is just for searching the web.
Right.
But no, it can search for apps on your device as well. For example, Runkeeper. There's the app. I tap on it, and it launches Runkeeper. There we go. And also, Same thing, if you feel like talking to your device, you can just say, okay, Google. I think you can just say, okay, Google. Okay, Google. Come on. Be nice. Launch.
Check out these pictures.
Be nice. Okay, Google. Launch Runkeeper. So that is really the lazy way. The lazy way of being organized is just don't bother to organize.
Well, if you're lazy, you shouldn't be doing Runkeeper. How's that?
No, I can only do Runkeeper if I can do everything else the lazy way. Okay, now I want to delete an icon from the Android. So that email, I never use that email app. I use the Gmail. So it's a touch and hold, and notice up at the top, you get a trash can. That just appears after I touch and hold. Then I can drag it up to the trash can and throw it away. But it's gone from this home screen now, but it is not gone from the device.
So that's a major difference between Android and Apple.
That's a major difference between Android and Apple. You can have icons on the screen or not on the Android, and the app can still live in your, I call this little set of squares down here, I call it my all apps. Some places I've seen it called the app drawer. So I just deleted the email, but there it is right there. So you can always get to any of your apps by going into your all apps. And these should be alphabetical. Alphabetical trick, the 3-dot menu, and view type, and alphabetical grid versus customizable grid. So I like having my all apps be alphabetical. So what if I wanted to put that email app back on the screen? Touch and hold, and it opens up that screen that I just left, and it puts it there. If I want to move it to the first screen, touch and hold, drag over to the right until the screen moves, and then drop it off. So notice here it's telling me I have a home, and then I have one more screen of apps, another screen of apps, and then another one that's completely blank. Well, why do I have a blank one? How do I get rid of it?
Oh, great. Because somebody asked that very same question.
Oh, yeah?
How do we get rid of blank screens?
I'm ahead of you there. Now, if you are, this is on Samsung. So, and it's using something called TouchWiz for its home screen layout. And I'll explain that in a minute. But so yours might be different. But on this one, I pinch. When I pinch a home screen, it's now showing me a miniature of all my home screens. And just like an app, I touch and hold and move up to the remove. Then I just tap on whatever screen I want to go back to, and now notice I have a home screen and just 2 more. I don't have 3 more. What's really interesting, though, is I can even remove, if I pinch, I can even remove a screen that has stuff on it.
Wow.
So talk about a quick and easy way to clean up. I just take the whole home screen with all its apps and go to remove. This will remove the home screen and all the items it contains. But does that remove the apps from my device?
Well, on an Android, it does not.
No.
But
No.
So, no big deal.
So, and okay, I did not show on the Apple, how do you get more screens? Just by adding more apps.
Oh,
So
you just put more on there and it'll just make as many screens.
Right, it
as you
makes
need.
as many, and when you remove all the apps from a screen, the screen will go away. So, and that's how it is on the Samsung with the Google launcher, which I will show in a minute.
Okay.
All right, so how do we make folders? So let's see, what do I want in a folder here? Let's say I want Gmail, email, and contacts all in one folder. Touch and hold, drag one on top of the other. That's not working. That's because this device is slightly different. Touch and hold and take a look up at the top. There's a create folder. So I drag it up to create folder and let go. And it says, okay, what is this? This is a mail folder. Okay. Now that little circular thing indicates that it is a folder. Drag that into it and that into it. And now I have a grouping. And now I can drag that whole grouping around if I want to. I can drag that whole folder over to another screen. And if I decide I want a screen just for mail, I drag again, and it will make a new screen. There. Well, it takes practice.
All of this stuff takes practice.
There we go. So now I have mail on a screen all by itself. Pretty silly. I mean by Google Launcher and TouchWiz. Nope. First, I want to show you about widgets. So what is this big clock here? You know, everything else.
It could be a bomb. Be careful.
Oh. Everything else is just a little icon that represents a program. And then I have this Chicago and Philadelphia times. That's a widget. Widgets are bigger than icons, and they do something just all by themselves, as opposed to the icons where you have to tap it and it opens an app. We did a whole episode on widgets.
We did.
Episode number 31. So if you want to know about widgets, that's where you go. My only purpose here is to show you how do you put a widget on there or take it off. So I'm going to take this one off, touch and hold, remove. Now, how do I get it back? All apps, or app drawer, some people say. Now, pay attention. There's apps and there's widgets. If I tap on widgets, instead of seeing all the individual apps, I'm going to see all the widgets that I could put on my screen. And there's the clock. Touch and hold, drop it off in place, and that's how I get that. And then you can change the city by tapping on it and choosing your city.
I like widgets. They really come in handy.
Yeah. I love my Evernote widget.
Yeah.
So
stuff done.
Now, what do I mean by what I've been working on here is the home screen layout system that comes with Samsung, and it's their proprietary one. They call it TouchWiz. You can get others. They're called launchers, and most Google phones these days come with the
Google Launcher.
The Google Launcher. So let me show you how you could change that. That's in your settings. So I'm going to tap on the gear. And it is a general setting and default application. See, they're saying that your home screen launcher is an application. And you can change which one by tapping on your default applications. And TouchWiz Home is what is currently my home screen launcher. I want to clear that so that I can tap on Home and choose the Google Now launcher instead. Now, if yours does not show the Google Now launcher, you might need to go to your Play Store and download it. It's free, but you might need to go get it. Now, when I just press the Home button, my screen will look a bit different. For one, when you're at your #1 home screen and you go left, you're at the Google Now screen, which
With all the
has
cards.
with all the cards and the search, and it's cool. I am starting to get better at swiping over and just checking that whenever I want to see stuff. But now, if I want to make a folder, it does work the way I expect. And that is to touch and hold. Whoops. I opened it. Touch and hold and drag one on top of the other.
Sometimes that's called a long press.
Long press. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there was a question from Marie asking, does this method of creating folders work the same in Android? And my answer is, it depends. Because
you try it and see.
Try it and see, absolutely.
Really, so many people came up to us when we're at different rallies or conferences where we're teaching, and they say, how do I make a folder? And they have an Android device. First thing I do is touch and hold and drag one on top of the other.
If that works, you're done.
If that works, we're done, right? If it doesn't work, then I touch and hold and look for some other options that appear when you. So the key is that touch and hold. So whenever you don't see a button available for what you want to do, try touch and hold. It's kind of like a right click on the computer. You know, it just gives you options.
Cool.
Now, so this is now my phone, and how do I tell if and it's a Samsung phone, how do I tell quickly whether or not I'm using the Google launcher instead of the Samsung TouchWiz launcher?
Long press.
Yeah. And I don't get the TouchWiz stuff. But if I swipe over, that takes me to my Google Now. Now on this one, how do I get that widget? This is a widget. This is my favorite widget. This is my Evernote widget. And I can get rid of it by touch and hold, drag up to the top to remove. Now I say I want it back. I go to my all apps, and I don't have that choice anymore between apps and widgets. So they're somewhere else. What did we just teach? Touch and hold, long press. So just long press on a blank part of the screen, and looky there. There is my button for widgets. And I have a bunch, and once again, it's episode 31. We did a whole episode on widgets. And there is the Evernote widget I want. I put it back. And then it says, do you want to customize each button within the widget? Maybe, but I'm not going to right now. Done. And there I have my Evernote widget back.
Well, that's cool because you have so many ways to configure your home screen now. And I think the Android gives you a few more choices.
Oh, the Android definitely gives you a few more choices.
It can be very confusing.
It can be good and it can be confusing, yes. But there's definitely more choices on the Android than on the Apple. But now you should know how to delete an icon, how to move one, how to make a folder, how to alphabetize, how to add widgets.
Pretty cool.
I think we're done.
All right, so that's the beginner's lesson. All right. So
what's a launcher?
Screens.
That's a widget.
Okay.
Yep.
Viewers, well, let's see. Marie says Google's on a break. I'm not sure what that means. Art has a question here from before, and he says that it still cannot find anything under settings for the click on the camera. Oh, Art had a question from before. He's not getting the sound for his click on the camera. Did you figure that one out?
Well, I wrote an answer, but this looks like he's writing back and saying what I told him doesn't work on his. So let me just show him on mine and see if it helps.
Okay.
So he said his camera wasn't making an audible click. On mine, and I have a Samsung Galaxy S5, and I'm using the standard camera, you tap on the, and then what I said, what most people don't realize is there's more than what you see here. There's some below the fold. You drag up, and there is shutter sound, and you can turn that off or turn that on. I have also discovered, however, that just your volume controls, if your volume is set all the way down, that also affects your camera clicker, and it won't, yeah, if your volume is set down in some other place, when you go to camera, it affects the shutter sound.
Okay, well, I hope that
I hope that helps.
Question. You never know. Okay. Back here.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Geeks on Tour. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com. Our app of the week this week. And somebody requested Roadtrippers. It's maps built for travelers. Now, we have always loved Microsoft Streets and Trips. Streets and Trips has gone away. They're no longer supporting it. It's still around, but they're no longer supporting any of the maps or any of the programs. So we were out looking for another one, and Roadtrippers came up well, regarded, and we've tried it out. Now it does need an internet connection, and so we plan our trips now on a couple of different things. We use Google Maps, Google Earth, and Roadtrippers, and we can plan a whole trip. And we've done several of them, and we have a bunch of them. You can share them. You can do it, and it has a companion app for the Apple and for the Android, and you can also run the web interface on a tablet or a smartphone. So
yeah, so it is at roadtrippers.com, and there's an app, roadtrippers.com, and you can it really is nice for planning like a whole summer's trip, but it's not perfect. I don't even remember now, but there's something that I wanted to do that I could not do with Roadtrippers. So I'm
well, you can have offline maps, but it's so much nicer to have everything in one place. This way you have to go back and forth and do pieces. I really like Roadtrippers. It has a neat feature that even the Streets and Trips didn't have, and that is putting in dates.
Calendar.
Calendar.
It'll tell you when you are arriving
nice.
or it'll allow you put in when you're arriving. I can show Roadtrippers for a second if you want.
Go ahead.
Because what I think is the coolest part of Roadtrippers, well, first of all, it's an app. It's not just a website, so you can work on it both on your computer and on here. Oops, it's in my travel group, isn't it? Now I do use folders on mine. And Roadtrippers, there we go. It's free. And I've been trying to figure out how they make their money. I'm pretty sure they must get paid something from the hotels and attractions that they spotlight for you.
Yeah.
But so therefore, the best part of Roadtrippers is how you can find things to do.
Right.
Things to do and things to see. And it's this little marker here, this little green marker. I can say, well, I don't want to see markers for everything. I want to just do something fun. So how about attractions and culture? I just want to see offbeat attractions.
I like the offbeat attractions too.
So I just select that. Oh, it says it doesn't find any near me. Okay, so I'm going to have to zoom out a bit and then say, show me offbeat attractions. And now go back to the map. And there's one not too far away. Casadega Spiritualist Camp.
Casadega's a neat place.
I've been there. That's where you can go get your fortune told. It is a cool place.
Yeah.
All right. And then there's lots more. I mean, look at all that. Museums, stadiums, top attractions, camping and RV, outdoor recreation, points of interest.
Well, one thing I noticed when I was setting this up and I created a new trip just from here down to Fort Lauderdale, and I noticed that I got an email from Roadtrippers in my email that was recommending hotels on the route. So that's one way that they make their money.
And you can share trips with the family, and it's just very attractive too. Mm-hmm. And as I say, you can make a whole year's worth. We did a video on it too. There's a video on our website. So here was our 2015 Road Tripper map.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And we're just at the end of that 2015.
Yeah, we are.
This part of the 2015.
We are.
We're going back to Florida, and we'll be in Florida for most of the winter.
For the winter, yep. Bouncing around Florida, but in Florida. Okay.
Well, what you showed Art doesn't seem to have helped. He has another. You did that on your camera mode. I drug up and got nothing. What did you do? I think I missed something. Well, look at the video again, Art, and see on the replay and see if maybe it makes it clear to you.
I wonder if you're in a different mode, because sometimes the mode that you're in, the camera, like if you're in panorama, some options are not there.
That's a good thought. Another thing is, are you using the standard camera app? It could be a different camera app. Not sure.
Put a question in the members Q&A forum, and we'll keep working on it.
Okay. Well, did you learn something? I know I did. So when you delete an app's icon from your home screen, does it remove or uninstall the app from your device on an iPhone?
On an iPhone, yes.
How about on an Android?
No. It's still there in your all apps or in your app drawer.
So that's the big difference. True or false, on iPhone, iPad, make a folder by dragging one app on top of another.
Exactly true. That's how you do it. Just touch and hold until they all start wiggling, then you can drag.
Okay. On an Android, if you cannot make a folder by dragging one app on top of another, try
Try just a long press and see if Create Folder appears on your screen. Then you can drag it to that button, to the Create Folder, and go that way.
Okay. How do you know the number of home screens on your device?
By the little dots or dashes at the bottom of the screen.
So it depends on your device. All the apples are dots, right?
Yeah, the apples are dots.
Some
Androids are dots, and some are dashes.
Okay. If you have a Samsung using the TouchWiz home screen, how do you switch to Google Now Launcher?
That's in your settings and default applications. Sometimes you have to go into Application Manager and then defaults. Sometimes default application is right there, or home, and it's the home screen setting.
Okay. How do you learn more about widgets?
Episode 31 of What Does This Button Do?
Okay. So we need to check that out. There we go. So, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is Weekly Show.
And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is Blogs and Articles. Newsletters is under there.
Cool. And the benefits you get by joining Geeks on Tour.
Access to all the tutorial videos. Those are the prepared tutorial videos rather than these live shows. Asking questions on the member Q&A forum, and show notes on our saved What Does This Button Do shows.
The show notes are becoming very, very valuable. I use them all the time just to go back and
look up,
remind
how
myself.
did we do that?
Yeah. So we do invite you to become a member. We are member supported, and go to geeksontour.com and click on Join Now. Next time.
Next week, we'll be in Fort Lauderdale with fiber optic internet at the townhouse.
We need some.
And I'm the beginner's lesson is going to be on Evernote. Now, Evernote deserves a month-long class, but we'll we'll do something that's just a beginner's lesson on it.
Okay. I'll have an app of the week. We'll take your questions. Watch for the notification for next week's show. Make sure to click that you're coming and leave your questions in the comments. Oh, here's something I found from Luke this morning. Man, none of my apps are really working now. I updated to Windows, iOS 9 on the Apple. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. Without my favorite apps, I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I'm in the bathroom anymore.
I relate to that.
Okay, if there are any more questions, we'll try and get to those after the show on our comments. And
we'll see you next week.
What does this button do? So what does this button do, Chris?
What does that button do?